Hi guys, Tim Urbanek with Elite Endurance with today's Tuesday tip of the day. In our gym, we do have a lot of different heavy bags hanging up, and a lot of people will come in and assume that we do boxing and stuff like that. Certainly we could, but we more or less use it more so just for cardio boxing, just to give a little bit different cardiovascular workout while still throwing in some strength training and stuff like that. So I want to cover just some simple tips on how to punch properly. There's different styles of gloves and stuff like that that we offer, and I'm sure you guys have seen as well in the stores. So we'll start off with the basics. We're going to go right to the gloves, and the first one I'm going to show you is more of your traditional boxing glove. And without getting too crazy into them, there are some different ones that are designed just strictly for sparring. There's ones that are designed strictly just for hitting a heavy bag. You'll usually see them that are a little bit bigger, a little bit more padding to kind of help protect that hand. On all of them, it's kind of common, just a little bit different style closures. Like this one is considered like a hook and loop just because it's a Velcro. The goal on this, as you put it on, you're wanting to make sure you get your hand all the way inside, obviously. And when it comes to that wrist strap, you want to try to make that pretty tight, because what this is going to do is kind of lock your wrist in, give you a little bit more support, so as you're punching, it's not going to have a tendency to make that wrist wobble and walk on you and kind of sprain that if it isn't really tight. Again, this would be more of your standard bag glove, 16-ounce glove. Again, we do use these on certain occasions, but a lot of times what we tend to use actually is a different style glove that I'll show you. So again, this is more of your traditional boxing style glove, 16 ounces. The other one that we usually use, and it's actually got Chuck Norris's autograph, so if you put these on, you got to be hitting, it instantly makes you hit harder, there's no doubt about it. So these ones are more of your MMA style or grappling or jiu-jitsu style glove, if you were doing like jiu-jitsu, like pancrase with hitting. So this one, it does have like a little bit of a padding or bar, I should say, across the middle that gives you a little bit of solid bite on your fist. So same concept as I showed you earlier with the boxing gloves. This one's going to go on just like a normal glove, and it's going to have that same style, but it gives you a little bit more now to wrap that wrist, because these gloves are only going to be about a 6 to 8 ounce glove. So same concept applies. You want to make sure you wrap that nice and tight, get it snug, because again, this is going to be your wrist support. Another thing that you'll see like on professional boxers, or if you're actually in sparring and fighting, a lot of times what they'll do is a pre-wrap that they'll put in their on their hand, and then put the glove over that. That would be more so with kind of your traditional boxing glove. Again, since we only do mostly cardio boxing, and we're not trying to knock people out or we're not fighting each other, we don't really worry about putting on the boxing wraps underneath the gloves. So again, we just try to tell everybody, just make them tight and keep it kind of secured so you got a good fist that's not going to wobble on you. So again, this is the style we more so use in here for a couple reasons. We'll work off of the bag just for a set amount of time, so we'll just say a 1-minute round or whatnot. From there, I'll immediately have them go to something strength-based. So we might be throwing a med ball, maybe walking with kettlebells, dumbbells, pushing prowler sleds, stuff like that. And with the dexterity of not having a closed glove, they can actually grip and grab the equipment like they need to. So again, this is something we kind of try to go with a little bit more, gives you a little bit more bang for the buck. But it really depends too. If you're really starting to hit the bag very heavy, these ones aren't going to obviously provide as much protection as your standard traditional 16-ounce glove, so just be wary of that. So as far as when it comes to boxing, I won't get into all the different stances, you know, southpaw versus normal and all that kind of stuff, so I'll just set it up as just a normal stance, since most people are dominant with their right hand. I'm actually left-handed, but I'll demo it from the right side. Because the big keys on the cardio boxing when we're doing it, we still try to teach good form, because we want them to get something out of it, and it makes the work that much easier, and you're not beating yourself up trying to do something with poor technique. So we'll just go over like a 3-punch combination, so a 1, 2, 3. And all that means is 1 would be a jab, 2 is going to be a cross, and 3 would be like a hook, we'll say, to the body or something like that. So when you're punching in boxing, I always tell people you kind of blade your stance, you're kind of on an angle, so it makes a smaller target. So everything is up top at the face, so you're protecting your face. Again, we're not hitting each other, but you still want to have good form. So on every punch, I want you to think of you're kind of on a swivel. All the power is really coming from the hips and the feet. It comes from the foot up to the hip, and that's what gives me that power. It's not just standing here with just arms. You could get away with that maybe for 10-15 seconds, but you're going to end up blowing up your arms, and you're not going to have a lot of power behind those punches. So just to demo it, you're always going to want to hit with the first 2 knuckles, you know, obviously when it's in the gloves. The last 2, the outside, you don't really want to hit with those. You have a tendency to potentially crack or break those. So you want to hit with these 2. When you make that fist, you're always bringing that thumb under. You never want to wrap it in here. Again, another good way to break that thumb. So if I'm here and I'm gonna throw that one, I'm here, notice my hips, my feet, everything moves as one. I keep my hands up nice and high, protect my temple, protect my jaw. I'm hitting in. As I come for that two, as this left jab is coming back, the other one's coming right out. So it's kind of you're switching as you're going. I'm never here, bring it to here and throw like this. I wanna make everything off of my hip and foot movement. So it's almost like a coil spring. You can kind of think of it that way, or a snake kind of coiling up. So I would throw that one, that two, and then that hook to the body. When you do that hook, again, you're not punching this way. You actually turn the wrist up and the fist up, and you're gonna still do the same. You're still hitting with those two hands, but as I'm coming at the opponent, I'm gonna be one, two, so now I'm inside, already coiled to hit over the top with that three. Same concept applies though. I don't wanna see people just doing this, like punching from the hips like karate or taekwondo. Doesn't have a lot of practicality in the real world, so everything stays up, and you get a better workout with that as well, because now your shoulders, believe it or not, after about 45 minutes to an hour that we'll work on these, your shoulders are gonna blow up, and it's gonna take everything in your power just to keep those hands up high. You're gonna start to see guys start to drop those, and that's what happens in a real boxing or an MMA fight. Guys get lazy, they get tired, hands come down, that's when they get knocked out. So just real quick, just a couple of things on the boxing. Like I said, you got the different style gloves, different size bags and stuff. This is a 200-pound bag. And then we've got different ones that are more of a Muay Thai, so you can do kicks and stuff. Those are only about 130 pounds. But again, the biggest concept, the biggest takeaway I want you guys to know is the gloves, choosing the right glove. And then again, remembering, just like anything we're doing in sports, you always want to make sure you're getting that hip movement. There's a lot of power hidden in those hips and in those feet. And if I just plant them, stay square, and just do this, I'm really selling myself short, and I'm not getting the best bang for my buck for that workout. So there you go, guys. Again, Tuesday's tip of the day, a real quick, nice, easy one on boxing. Until next time, guys, thanks.